Okay.
Hello, it's Scott and Rita. This is our Cosmic Dialogue. You can find us at cosmicfixer.com. You can find me at northerndruid.net and Rita at cosmicsoulcircle.com. Get a Cosmic Soul Circle. So that's my commercial. That's it. It's our Cosmic Dialogue 47. And I think we want to kind of go back to a more childlike, a more neophyte beginner level again, just to see what comes up and to be very much a beginner. That's the thought I had when Rita and I started talking. So, Rita, how do you feel? Do you want me to start? We'll do
Yes.
a
Yeah, you
couple,
have
few
that.
minutes, and then a few minutes, and then you can supercharge me.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Um, I'm actually gonna just do some stuff with like the stuff that's going on for me right now. Just see where I go. So, let's just say it's been a year from now. Rita and I had this conversation where um, I started stepping into, I really stepped into last year calling myself a spiritual director. I reinvigorated my YouTube channel and I started really teaching folks concepts through my channel, through my videos, through the things I would talk about and conversations. And it's been a year now of people really getting to know me at this level. It took a little while for folks to, I want to say get used to this shift, but because some of them already knew me that way because they knew that I had these kinds of ideas and that they would always come to me, but it was a little more secretive back then, and it was just something that people talked about once in a while when they had a curiosity. They're like, oh, maybe Scott would be somebody to talk about these things, because I have like these little intuitive hits, and I know he's not going to ridicule me or things like that. And so in the past, I would just do things with friends, but it's been a year now since I've really put myself out on, like, I've got my YouTube channel, I do readings, I have lots of free tarot readings. It's like I'm really putting myself out there because I feel like I have a light to shine, and it's really where I want to be, and so why not just do it? So that was what I started thinking of a year ago. This is really what I want to just sort of do and kind of, I don't know, for an income or for my vocation. I just started doing it. And I just started, changing and embracing names, like saying intuitive or cosmic spiritual director, and critiquing the coaching industry, and really sharing some radical concepts I had about being intuitive and about being, whether it was a psychic or spiritual director or coaching or my thoughts on divinity. So I really stepped out because I had these ideas in my mind, and I thought, well, once I have this, I should just express it and share a light and let whatever happens happen. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. If other people want to chime in and argue with me, they can do that. But just to start a dialogue, because I did have a lot of different radical ideas, and I still do. And so it's been a year now, and so I'm not going to get into like channel numbers or how many people are subscribing or how many people have, left my channel, or what kinds of people are attracted to that, because to me it's irrelevant now. I don't need that validation. The validation I get is when I know that I've made a connection, with someone or with the divine, or that now they know that the no topic is off limits with me. And so that kind of gives people a little more added comfort, I think. And that's been a new thing too, is that really also injecting this compassion that, hey, there's nothing, if I want to talk about unconditional love, I have to be that, and I have to change myself to like be that channel of unconditional love. And so there's nothing you can say to me in all confidence that is going to waver that for me. And I may disagree, or I may, on a visceral level really not like it, but I have conversations with folks, and that's one thing that's really, I think, has changed in the last year, is that somehow I found this way to walk in the world and to really show people that there are these radical ideas, but also that that there's a reason, and my reason is compassion, and my reason is really about companioning the suffering of the world. It's not about ending suffering, because to live is to suffer, and to die is to suffer, and to have joy is to suffer. It's not about ending suffering, but it's about being with other people in that idea of suffering, almost as in a Buddhist sense, that we have to companion the suffering as a part of our humanity. So I've really, those are the things that have really come through too recently in my talks on YouTube, is really getting out of our own way about even suffering and death and pain, that we have to touch on that and companion the silence, companion that space. That suffering is part of a soul journey. It's a precious part of a soul journey. And pain and loss and grief are precious parts of a soul's journey. Just as like stars and nebulas explode, and doing that and ending our old stories are very powerful. When we lose and shed a story, there's a little suffering aspect perhaps, but by embracing that, we get ahead of it. We really get ahead of our own, staying in that lower vibration through suffering. We get ahead of it, and we see it as an activation, something along our soul's path to really come to as a lesson, and as a being in touch with the whole of humanity, that we can feel this, that our feeling of this is to also know that we're not alone, because we feel this in humanity. So that suffering is, some people may feel that it's unjust. So that's been one of the topics that I've really, really, really focused on in the last year. And so that's kind of put me a little apart from some of these other psychics who really talk about prosperity and about things like that. I can throw around that psychic term a lot too, and it doesn't bother me either. So I know that people will judge me no matter what. So I can say psychic, I can say intuitive, I can put a title on myself. I'm just Scott the soul, walking around on earth, babbling, talking, hopefully shifting a paradigm and smashing an old idea. But that's been the change in the last year, and I've really loved that, and I just have stepped into it. So
okay. Well, what I've seen in the past year is that you had just started doing your tent making, and so it put you out in the world among people. And to be among people in this world is to be among pain, whether it's spoken about, expressed, felt, or denied and medicated and squashed down to pretend that it's not there. That's just the way the world primarily is at the moment. And you realize that spending time with people it would be like a flow of, like I'm seeing you getting swept off your feet by a sudden flash flood. Like you would get caught up in the mental, the yes, there initially I should say, the mental energy would take over, because that is so strong in the world today. And so you learn to notice that, notice when you were working in your head, and really probably as a way to avoid feeling all of that pain, because oh my goodness, it's just so pervasive. And those of us who are empathic, we feel it all. And being out there in it more, you learned how to regulate your own wellness and walk amongst all that pain. And that's what I've seen you really get good at in this past year, that you can know it's there, you can feel it very specifically for the person you're talking with, but not get caught up in the story or trying to counter the story from your own thinking. And that's a real skill. That is a valuable thing that exists very rarely in the world. And that's what people are feeling as your ability to accept who they are, where they are at any given moment without being judgmental, because you're taking the mental part of it out and going straight to their soul, where we all are where we are at a soul level, regardless of our bank account or the size of our home or what our job title is. Once we get to the spirit world, we are very exposed. And so you are essentially exposing people here, not as a punitive or anything like that. You are exposing them like a little baby is exposed, vulnerable. You're allowing the vulnerability to be there, and that's what they feel right away, and that's the valuable thing that you offer.
Wow, thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
How about you? You want to go ahead?
Okay. Okay. So a year ago, Scott pointed out to me that I could really just be the keeper of the quiet. And that thrilled me and scared me, and I was willing to jump into that and see what happens, even though it doesn't make sense as far as being an entrepreneur goes, to build my whole business around being quiet. That sounds a little bit crazy, but I went into it, and so many things were created in that time. And what I learned was the benefit of getting out of the way. And I don't know if this is just for me or if this is something that other people could learn to do and benefit from. But just getting out of the way, and it's maybe about not having expectations of where I'm supposed to be and who I'm supposed to be, or what my creations are supposed to end up as, or be valued as, or be really oftentimes exploited as, is what I've experienced in the past, which I wouldn't have said before now. I wouldn't have used that word exploited, but that's probably something very true. So I've just gotten really skillful at being being a conduit of creativity, truth, a variety of things that, and being the conduit rather than the creator has brought freedom. And I'm tongue-tied. I don't know. I think I should just be quiet.
I'll supercharge your quiet.
Okay.
Yeah, it's been a year since Rita and I had the talk, and I had, well, it sounds like the talk. So, when I said it's just, yes, you need to stay and be the keeper of quiet. And because she did have dreams about these things, and she had channels about these things of, Rita, just get out of the way and allow yourself to receive, allow yourself, and this is also part of, like, she's discovered this is also part of that others serving her and of being, served. She's also, through quietness, realized that, like, even folks in the spirit realm are now serving her because she's gotten out of the way. She's allowed herself to, like, be in that spot that she's meant to be in, this keeper of quiet, this keeper of reception, rather than, some of us are skilled, like, in broadcasting, speaking, and she's been a great influence to me because, her receptiveness has allowed me to, through our conversations, she's been like a really good mentor through her spirit realm journeys and through her quiet journeys. It's like, I get the same feelings like when I walk in the woods and feel the quiet there, and then something just comes upon me as I do, kind of like really contemplating about the quiet of Rita and what that means as far as, like, what I see her as, her role in the cosmos, in the universe, is like this keeper of quiet, this path shower, this embodiment of divine feminine throughout the ages, that we need to serve instead of exploit. And part of that serving is, let's just let this divine feminine have a rest and have a moment of quiet, a moment of, we don't need anything from you. We are not going to take from you. We don't need another painting. We don't need another circle. Of course, if you want to give that, that's something else. We don't need another caretaking moment from you. We don't need another mothering moment from you. The expectations shifted, and they're completely off, and they're at ease. And I've often equated this, by allowing Rita to be the keeper of quiet, that we are cosmically, through this arrangement and agreement, and even through this cosmic fixer thing, and even though she comes on the channel and talks, this is an energy that's going to allow the divine feminine, if we see this energy as a cosmic energy this energy of allowing Rita, not just allowing, but I don't want to say allowing because it feels like permission is given. It's of, okay, I'm just going to say surrendering Rita and the divine feminine from our own ego. Surrendering it has, like, I believe this creates ripples throughout the cosmos, the universe, the consciousness of humanity. And so if we can see this ripple of, oh my gosh, we don't have to put pressure on a divine feminine embodiment anymore and take from it, that, wow, look at what can happen when we allow women in our lives to rest. The men get to grow up. These quiet beings get to receive images and messages from the divine. They get to commune with, the cosmic Marys of the universe throughout time. They get to commune with others, and if we believe that one heals the other and the other heals us, allowing Rita to be quiet has, we've seen this through the audience that we speak to as well. Rita's quiet is allowing healing to happen for those other non-earthbound spirits that we are in contact with that are our audience. It's like, oh my gosh, I'm learning from you because you are at rest, and I see that rest, I acknowledge that rest, and it resonates back to me as rest. And it's this whole idea that not only can we learn from the spirit realm, but the spirit realm can learn from us, and we can learn in tandem. And when we allow this as an intention of divine feminine, allowing it to rest, and Rita is a perfect example, in my opinion. This is the highest, I think it's one of the higher things that we can ever do. And I'm happy. I've been happy to see all of this past year of this resting Rita. This, she started out with the I quit. That's it, I quit. And look what manifested through all of this. It's still manifesting. Her I quit, her quiet. The circles that create quiets, that activate other people. So it's, ironically, through her getting quiet, the universe had to step in and say, we're just going to combat you getting quiet. And she became a little more abundant because people ordered circles. They wanted prints. And so thankfully, she has an ambassador who has served the circles who can still keep her in her quiet. And so, but whenever we kind of put it out there to the world that Rita's going to be quiet, somebody comes in and wants to buy painting because they just can't have it. So it's it's amusing.
Nice. Thank you. Yes, that was everything I couldn't say.
Thank you.
Yes.
Good. Anything else? I think that was good.
Yeah, it was great.
We are growing, both of us.
Definitely.
Good. All right. Thank you.
Thanks.